Looking back on my first reflection, I realized that for me, media only seemed to portray places like Southern California positively. Shows like 90210 emphasize the sunny weather and wonderful lives of the characters. What I failed to notice, but have since become aware of, is how shows like these are never as sunny under the surface. In general, throughout the course of this class, I've discovered that media, though it tends to emphasize one perspective, uses narratives with different tones to create complex representations of geographies. The media's depiction of Southern California is a prime example of how competing connotations can exist about one place. As mentioned previously, shows like 90210 highlight SoCal's beauty and laid-back vibes through extensive shots of beaches and palm trees, large houses, and wealthy high-class families. And this is exactly what my imagined image of SoCal was based off of.
This is going to be fun. We got the weather, we got the palm trees with the more palm trees.
However, shows like Veronica Mars, an early 2000s noir-style series set in San Diego, serve to display the other popular representation of SoCal, the darker one. True to noir fashion, Veronica Mars features low lighting and shadows alongside high-contrast colors. After losing his job as sheriff, Veronica's father opens an independent investigation agency that Veronica helps at, aiding her disillusionment with the upper-class families whose corrupted lives they investigate. Veronica's world revolves around lies, corruption, and the idea of facades, three negative aspects that are encapsulated perfectly by Mike Davis's phrase, the parasitical nature of Southern California. As a genre, noir shows like Veronica Mars aim to pick apart the positive representation of SoCal in favor of exposing the corruption and superficiality that big cities like Los Angeles and San Diego depend on. The show is not out to paint Southern California in a positive light. This was an important realization for me as it exposed a media representation of SoCal drastically different from the image I grew up with, and I do see now how it is not always blue skies and sunshine. Another example of complex representation of geography can be seen in the show Fargo and its depiction of the Midwest. In Heartland TV, Victoria Johnson describes the Midwest as being a place of solid dependability and outdated American past life and values, making this region simultaneously the most comfortable and boring of all of the continental U.S. This is the image of the Midwest that shows like Green Acres portray, with their rundown behind-the-times farm towns. However, Fargo works to completely rewrite this narrative. Set in Minnesota, the show stars a subpar protagonist named Lester, who is clearly not living his best life. His wife and brother have no faith in his abilities as a man. He's threatened by a bully from high school, only to end up hurting himself by running into a wall, and he works a boring job that he's not great at. Therefore, the end of the pilot comes as a complete shock when Lester accidentally kills his wife and forms an alliance with a for-hire murderer. Compared to Green Acres and Johnson's depiction of the Heartland, the Midwest as imagined in Fargo is vastly more exciting in a murder mystery, arguably noir-style way. This imagination works against the traditional imagination, fighting the notion that a place can only be imagined in one way. For me, as someone who's never been to the Midwest, this was eye-opening and definitely emphasized the importance of weighing all narratives when it comes to geography. In conclusion, geography can never be completely described through a single narrative. Just as SoCal is imagined as beautiful and corrupt, and the Midwest is imagined as boring and morbidly exciting, cities are imagined as both hubs of success and inherently filthy, and suburbs are both opportunistic and extremely segregationist. The paradoxical feelings that I experience at the coast, the freedom and terror caused by the massiveness and power of the ocean, should have been an indication to me that no place is as simple as it seems, yet I too fell in the media trap of imagining places through only one perspective. It was not until we took a step back and looked at media depiction of geographies throughout the years and genres that I realized how complex geography can be, and how completely closed-minded media can make us to alternate understandings.